Now it's time for your weekend tech tip, brought to you by Chevy Silverado.
Thank you, Chevy Silverado, for making that happen and for such a fantastic drive into the studio every morning. Okay, so plunking for sockeye and steelhead all at the same time. It's, for a lot of us, it's not a concept that's foreign by any means. Quite honestly, it's really what we're trying to accomplish. Now, this year is a little bit different, okay? I'm not going to have the time today to talk anything about their justification or how all of a sudden we're only getting one sockeye per person below Bonneville on the Columbia, so I don't want to get sidetracked there. I'd like to, but I'm not. But believe it or not, if you're in the right zone of the Columbia River, typically is in the lower sections of the river on the Oregon side. There are certainly spots on the Washington side, very popular areas on the Oregon side in that lower area below, you know, the Rainier area and this and that. But plunking makes it, I'm not going to say easy by any means. Every sort of fishery has different techniques, and there are little intricacies for each one. All that comes with time and experience while you're out there, watching others, getting some advice, and just having the willingness to change things up a little bit. But the specific question that I'm trying to answer here was one of our Facebook fans, was if you were going to target, again, you get one, first thing, let me just throw this out there. If you do happen to land a steelhead, if it's first, the very first fish that you land and you decide to keep, you're done. No more fishing, no jacks, no sockeye, nothing, okay? Just, this whole thing is kind of goofy. But if you get yourself a sockeye first, then you can go ahead and catch your hatchery steelhead. And again, it's only one apiece. But what I'm holding up here is probably one of the most popular double rig setups. This is from Coldwater Strong. We just had Ken Vellante in here just a little bit ago talking about some of the different pre-rigged plunking setups that he has. And wow, that was cool. I just went Matrix on everybody. Is a double rig setup. Now, the reason why I say that, he does have triple rig setups. He just brought that out this year. But in this topic, for chasing both of them at the same time, I want a double rig. And I'll get to the reason why that is in a second. So it's just a basic setup, spin and glow, size 1, size 1/0 hook. I do like a bigger hook if I'm plunking for sockeye, just because their mouths are very, very soft. And when you do get bit, if you're using coon shrimp or not, if you're using any number of different baits, and sometimes no bait at all, you get that little bit bigger hook in there, you get a little bit better bite, and you're a little bit less apt to lose them, because you do lose quite a few of these things. But with your double setup, just like you have here, is what you're going to be throwing, right? That's what you're going to be casting when you're on the bank. Great option to have is a line counter. When you're talking about sockeye from the bank, it's a huge advantage with having a line counter so that you can continually get to the same area that you may have been bit before. Maybe you're seeing other people trying to hit a specific spot. If you get to a bank area where there's folks that are actively plunking, and trust me, when you go to the right areas, you ain't gonna be alone, okay? There's gonna be a lot of people there. It's okay to ask, well, you know, what's your number? Some people aren't gonna answer you. Some people are just that way. The world's full of them, right? There's nothing you can do about that, but the vast majority of the time, people are very, very friendly and they're willing to help out. Oh, you know, I'm getting bit at 33 feet on the line counter, or 22 feet, because a lot of the times they're right there, sockeye and steelhead. So a line counter is important. You don't have to have a fancy long rod. You know, a perfect setup would probably be a 10-foot, 10-foot-6, something that can throw up to 3 or 4 ounces, pyramid leads. So just kind of keep that in mind. You want to have enough rod where you can actually cast that bit of lead out there. But let's take a look at the Kershaw Tech Cam, and I'm just going to run down a couple of different things as far as baits go, okay? Now, first, of course, the most popular bait that people are going to be plunking with is going to be a spin and glow. Then, of course, the appropriate hook, which could be, again, a size 1, 1/0. That's what this happens to be here. I really, really, really like that style of hook when you're talking about sockeye in particular, because it does help a little bit with keeping that hook in the fish's mouth before they, with barbless, spitting the hook is pretty simple for those things. But don't overlook kokanee, okay? And now you're gonna go, what are you talking about? Kokanee are landlocked sockeye. Sockeye are pretty simple fish. Kokanee baits can be very, very effective from the bank. Hot tails last year did extremely well from the bank for folks, especially along some of the spots on the Washington side. I'm not going to give up too much there. But hot tails rigged with little bits of shrimp, just chunked and put onto a hook, were very popular. You can cast these things very, very well. They're solid, they're not breaking open or anything, so they can be casted as well as the Kokanee cut plug from Brad's. That is a great option just because of the size. You can fill that with shrimp, you can fill it with whatever it is that you wanted to do, rig it up just like you're supposed to, and you can absolutely cast the Kokanee cut plugs. And they can be very effective. Days are going to be different. You might have a spin and glow on one rig, and you might have a different style of bait along with it. Scent, of course, is always a big option. Cooney gel from Millennial, of course, the Procure shrimps in so many different versions. But when you're talking about steelhead, here's what I'm talking about. You cast out your double rig, and then with that, you send down a slider, okay? You send down a slider with a size 3, 3.5, 2.5, whatever it is, mag lip with a single hook. You have to take the belly hook off. You can't have more than 3 hooks out there. And one of the best things that you can do to help out with sliding down a plug is going to be a little weighted slider that you actually clip onto your main line and just slide it down. My recommendation is to put an 8 millimeter bead on your main line before you tie on your double rig, so that when you actually do hook a fish, this slides down and stops at that bead. But this weighted slider helps out with just getting down there. Remember, with a slider, it doesn't go any further down your main line than what the bow of the line is because of the current. It'll get to the bottom of that bow, and that's as far as it's going. That's fine. If it's only 15, 20 feet out off the bank, there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of times you're going to have sockeye and steelhead in that inside line, and when you got a plug just rattling around down there, you can absolutely get yourself that extra steelhead while you're fishing for sockeye with those 2 spinning glows that are cast out there. So that is the perfect setup if you're going to try to accomplish both. Chasing the sockeye with your spinning glows or whatever baits they happen to be, and then that plug slid down onto your main line with only 1 hook on that plug, okay? You can only have 3 hooks when you're out there. Perfect colors for that. Pinks, the bright orange for sure is a very good color for steelhead. You got the clown pattern here, which is just, no matter where that is, something is going to want to bite that particular color pattern. They love that pattern, and they have forever. 3.0, the 2.5, or the 3.5 is the perfect size plug to slide down. Then, last thing I'm going to throw in there before I wrap this up, I don't want to forget about folks that are going to be trying to chase these things in a boat, okay? All I'm going to say is, because I'm going to give you a tip that is not mine, okay? Think kokanee fishing. Just think you're out on Merwin, you're trolling around with a downrigger or without a downrigger, whatever it might be, and you're fishing your kokanee gear. On the anchor, in the right slot, the right depth, where the fish are actually traveling, kokanee gear. I mean, all the way to the corn. Just keep that in mind. Just, if you're gonna be like me and you're gonna go after them in a boat, I'm not gonna go too far with it. It's not mine to completely share how and rigging and all that stuff. You're gonna have to add your own to it, but just think kokanee, because that's basically what they are, is a big kokanee, and a kokanee is just a little sockeye. So they're very, very similar. They're triggered very, very similarly, so just keep that in mind. So there's a whole bunch of stuff going on here, but in the end, if you put yourself in the right spot, you fish it just like I'm telling you. You can change things up to whatever it is that you want to do yourself. This is what I like to do, okay? But you can change things up. You can go to a single rig, double or triple spinning glows, forget about the slider, whatever it is. But if you get out there and have that chance for that one sockeye, which, by the way, is your one adult salmonoid, while that opener is going on, look into your regulations, pay attention to the way everything's written, because they seem to make things as interesting as possible. It will help you be successful when you do get a chance to get out there. All right, we're going to cut to a break. When we come back, we're going to have your pikeman reward numbers for you and a really weird upcoming weekend for Outdoor GPS. I'll explain that in just a minute.